Today I'm going to show you how to create the Denman Ross 9-step value scale on a half sheet of paper. You're going to get your ruler and you are going to make a 1/2 inch mark kind of off to the side of the paper because you need room on each side for the value number and the value scale title. And so what you're going to do is you're going to do a 2.5 inch mark then, because you want your box to be a 1/2 inch by 2.5 inches. So then you're going to go again and make another 1/2 inch mark using the ruler to make sure it's straight. And then you'll just match those up, line them up, and draw your line to create the top part of the box. You are going to end up doing 9 of these boxes the exact same way. So after that, I'm writing the title, Denman Ross 9-step value scale, and then I'm going to write everything that needs to be written. So the thing is going to say sample, it's going to say value, and it's going to say value name. So that first box is just white and it's value number 1. So I put 1 and then I put white. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of space and I'm going to make 2 1/2 inch marks again. And since I already had that first box made, I can kind of just eye the 2.5 inches. So then this other box will be way faster to make. So then this other box will be titled 2 and it will be highlight. So now you're going to create the third box. Make your 1/2 inch marks again and then line them up and you make the top and the bottom part of the box. Now label that 3 and you will label that one light. And make sure you're leaving a little bit of space in between each of the boxes. And then you're going to make your other 1/2 inch marks and then you will line it up, make the top of the box, make the bottom of the box, label it 4, and then label it low light. Again, don't forget to put spaces in between each of the boxes. The reason that we put spaces is so that we can definitively have different boxes for the values instead of doing them where they all blend together. I want you to practice where each value is its own box. 5 is mid value. Don't forget to add that. And then after you create the 6th box, you will label it 6 and high dark. And then again, make sure there's spaces in between each of the boxes. You're gonna make your 1/2 inch mark, make your 1/2 inch mark again. And then you'll line them up, get the top part of the box, get the bottom part of the box. You are going to label this one 7, and 7 is dark. And then you're gonna make your 8th box with the 1/2 inch marks. Line up, make the top of the box, make the bottom of the box. And now 8 is gonna be low dark. And then you're gonna make your 9th box. Again, leaving space in between each of the boxes. And then you're gonna do the top and the bottom. Label that one 9. And I was just counting to make sure that I was doing everything exactly right. And so 9 is gonna be black. Okay, so after you have all that, I turn it sideways so it's easier. So the first one, number 1, is gonna be white. You are gonna do nothing to that one, leave it alone. And then I like to hold the pencil at the very back of the pencil so that it's easier to add a very, very light pressure. And I'm gonna fill in the whole box and then I will go over it again so that it can blend together. And then I don't know if you noticed, but I moved my hand a little bit closer to the front of the pencil so that number 3 light could be a little bit darker than number 2. And then I'm gonna fill in that whole box and I'll go over it, try and blend it together. And if there's any areas that needed another layer, I did that as well. And then I moved my hand closer to the front of the pencil so that I could get a little bit more pressure so that it could be a little bit darker. Because it's hard if you had your hand at the very, very front of the pencil the whole time, it's a little bit more difficult to get those really, really light values. So if you just, while you're moving down the value scale, move your hand down on your pencil, it's easier to get those lighter values at the top and the darker values at the bottom. So again, I'm just darkening them up, and I'm going in and filling it in, going over the areas I've already went over to blend them together. And then I move my hand down a little bit further so that I could press a little bit harder, because you want to press really, really light at the top of the value scale, and then you're going to press really, really hard at the bottom of the value scale, because that's the easiest way to get those different values, is by easing up on your pressure or putting more pressure on the pencil. And when I do each of these darker colors, I have to go over them a few times sometimes so that I could get the exact value that I am needing. So here I am doing dark. I had to take a break, like my hand was cramping. And then when I'm filling that in and just going over, I'm just trying to blend it so that it's not so chunky looking. And then low dark and black are very, very similar looking. You really want to make sure you're pressing as hard as you can for black, and then like barely ease up for low dark. Okay, so low dark, do you see how dark it is right there? So it's going to be pretty close to black. But black is just going to be as hard as you can press, and make sure when you are doing this that you are doing it on a hard surface with the paper not on anything else, because otherwise it's not going to get as dark as you need it.